Sup, welcome to Tobes Trades. In this video, I will teach you exactly how to set up your trading interface on Webull. Just to clarify, we're using the Webull desktop app, and this offers us the most flexibility and the most options. I'm going to show you at the end how to create exactly what interface I personally use to trade. Ignore the white space on the right because my window is usually smaller. I'm making it larger to fit the YouTube aspect ratio. So I'm going to go through step by step, going through all the different sections you need. But don't be overwhelmed. This looks complicated, but once we break it down, once you finish watching this video, you'll be able to understand everything 100%. So let's get started. Here's a new Blink interface, right? And in the top right corner, you'll be able to see a widget section. You'll be able to find all the widgets you'll ever need in this section. So first, of course, number one, we need a chart. So let's add a chart here. Let's make it bigger. Bam. All right, huge. Okay, so let's go through the different small sections of the chart. First, we have the grid, right? We have the grid. The grid allows us to split this chart widget into 2 charts, or 4 charts, or even like 9 charts, right? I don't recommend 9 charts unless you're using it just to broadly overview the market. But when I day trade, I just have 2 charts, right? And next, you want to sync the symbol. Right, so because I use both charts for one stock. What's different between them is that the time interval at the bottom, right? So for the left, for example, I use a 1 minute interval. For the right, I use a 5 minute. Or sometimes I look at the 5 minute and then the daily on the right, right? So this just gives me a broader overview of what's happening to the stock, right? From different perspectives of different time intervals. Next, we want to sync the 1 second. Let's go back to 1 minute, 5 minute. So next we want to sync the crosshairs, right? Now, what's the point of crosshairs? Crosshairs, syncing them, because we're using 1 minute, 5 minute, right, on the left and right, it allows us to find, for example, the corresponding 5 minute candle when we hover over the 1 minute candles. So if we're hovering over this, it will tell us instantly which 5 minute candle on the right it corresponds to. Of course, you also want to sync up your indicators, and we'll talk about indicators now. So if you go to the most left option, there's indicators, and on the top, it gives you some most commonly used indicators. For example, moving averages, which are already selected, Bollinger Bands. I don't use that often. VWAP definitely for day trading. MACD, of course, I like MACD. RSI is useful, yes, but I don't keep it up constantly because I don't need to constantly monitor this. RSI is something I look at for the daily chart once in a while. And then lastly, we have volume, but that's not needed because we already have volume on the actual chart itself. On the right, if you want more indicators, there's a lot more indicators. Just click all indicators button, and then it will show you all the indicators it has. It has like 20, 30 indicators. But these are just the ones I use for now. Also, you'll see that the moving average it provides you is the 5 interval moving average. Ideally, usually we use a 20 or even 50 moving average. So how do we change that? You'll be able to see the wheel on the left. So click the wheel and a window should pop up. My screen recording software does not record pop-up windows. So I took a screenshot earlier, and this is what you should see, right? You'll be able to enter whatever interval length moving average you want. And then you can change the color if you click style, and then you select it, and then bam, it will pop up. So as you can see right now, it shows the 5 minute, the 5 interval moving average. I'm going to deselect the 5 and then click 20, and bam, now it shows 20, right? So that's it for indicators. I'm going to remove this screenshot now. The next, we want to look at line styles, right? So you know how Robinhood gives you just regular lines like this? It's trash, right? It doesn't give you any information. Area, useless. Solid candles is what most people use, and there's hollow candles, which I personally prefer. And then there's baseline. I don't know what the fuck this is. Bar, what the fuck? Color bar. Some people use this, but I don't like it. And I don't know what the fuck this is either. So, let me explain why I like hollow candles over solid candles, right? So, for example, let me go to AMD, right? Just random stock, AMD. Oh, wait, this is not AMD. AMD, right? Let's go to 5 minute. I'm going to compare the solid candle and the hollow candle by using the 5 minute chart, right? So this is the exact same chart, except on the left I'm using solid, on the right I'm using hollow. And the reason I use hollow is because it provides you more information. For example, look at this candle over here. On the hollow candle chart, this candle is a solid green candle. But on the left, on the solid candle chart, this candle is a solid red candle. So why, right? So this basically gives you more information when you use hollow candle, because on the left, when you use solid candle, they all look the same, right? You might just assume, oh, they're the same as this red candle, but it's not, right? It's actually a unique case. What does that mean? When you see a solid green candle on a hollow candle chart, it means it opened here, right? This candle opened here, went all the way up, and then it closed lower, right? So usually this would mean a red candle, which kind of makes sense. But the reason it's solid green is because even after they closed, the close was still above the previous candle's close. So that's why it's green, right? So this gives you a lot more information, whereas on the left, they all look the fucking same. You know what I mean? So, and then lastly, there's drawings, right? For drawings, let's look at Invisalign, Align Technologies. Let me show you. So look at the daily on the right? So this is actually a channel I drew on stream about two days ago. I said it was gonna break out, and guess what? It did. But let me just showcase how it works, right? So there's, of course, a regular trend line, right? You just want to draw a trend line. Let's click this, right? You can just do whatever direction you want. You can change the color, of course, make it black, make it thicker. You can also make it like an arrow, or you can make it a dashed line, for example, right? This is all like on the right. You see this? Yeah. This is helpful. I use this to draw like trend lines, for example, like this, right? It will just give you a rough trend line. Or there's another option, it's just horizontal lines, right? So for example, I want to mark this high here with the horizontal line, click it, bam, is there. What else? I don't usually use anything else. Vertical line, extended, and ray are useless for me personally. And then there's parallels, right? So if you want to draw channels like these, let me erase this channel and draw it right now so you know what I'm talking about. So I click the parallel button, right? I want to draw a channel, let's see. And bam, that's it, the channel. You just do multiple clicks and you have a channel now. That's helpful. And then I also like the box, the rectangle. It's really nice. Yeah, there's also Fibonacci retracements if you want to do them. I don't use them at all, but the option's there if you want it. So that's it for the chart section. And now let's proceed to the next section. Number 2, watch list. And there's different types of watch list. So first, let's add a watch list, right? So you go to widgets, you go to I think it's general, general, and then click watch list, right? So now you have a traditional watch list. But this watch list gives you so much information, right? Too many informations, right? But you know what's important? The sparkline, right? So this is sparkline is very helpful because it gives you the overall intraday price action with just a glance. You don't even need to click on it. You can already see what the price action is like, or whether it's bouncing, whether just breaking upwards consistently on trend line. It will tell you, right? But there's too much information. We don't want to have too much information. It will crowd our judgment, right? So what do? We click the button, the 3 lines button on the left, and it will pop up all these different boxes, right? Let me just show it online. Not this one. Nope, not this one either. This one. So when you click it, you will see this. It will show you the watch list items, right? So we want to keep everything. We want to eliminate everything except we want to keep the spark line, and we want to keep the last, which is the current price, and the percent change, right? So everything else we're gonna take out. There's a lot of options, by the way. Just eliminate all of those, so we have a cleaner looking watch list. Of course, if you want to keep any of the information, right, any of the items, sections, you can feel free to keep them. But this is just the setup I like using. So now let's make this smaller. Let's make the symbol section smaller. And then the current price smaller. And then percent change, let's make that smaller as well. Alright, perfect. Oh, also if you make it too small, the sparkline will disappear. You don't want that. And bam, we have a watch list. Let's move our chart a little bit to the right so this fits. Alright, so that's our watch list. But there's multiple sections to the watch list, by the way. In addition to your regular watch list, there's also many different scanner watch lists you can create. Right? If you go back to my setup, On this section is where I put my top gainers, right? It scans the top gainers today, right? So for example, AACG right now, whoa, it went up 870% today, right? So for example, right, if the scanner showed up, we'll be able to cash this these breaks, right? It went up what, 36% in just 5 minutes at 155. Bam! It will like scan everything for us like real time. You also see top losers if you want to short, but this is what I like using. What else? There's also you can discover 52-week highs, like which ones are 52-week highs, right? We can also see which one's the most active, right? So the most volume traded today. Right now it's Sundial, it's Canadian wheat stock. I like wheat. You can also see upcoming earnings. Which companies, Snapchat and Ford are reporting earnings today, for example, right? So make it smaller. Bam, you can see all these, also IPOs as well. So let's add this right now. So first go to widget, and then you go to market, and then now you'll see top gainers, most active, and also the hot stocks right now, right? For hot stocks, you can also see hot stocks on Webull, which is our what the Webull users are buying and holding right now. And as you can expect, there's AMC, right? GME up there as well, Apple, anything you would expect. So how do we overlay these into one widget, right? So let me remove the image first. So now if you just click one of them and then hover them over another tab, and now they will turn to tabs, right? So now I can just combine the windows. Let's do the same for this as well. Bam, looking good. So let's put this above our watch list, right? This is also kind of a watch list. It's a scanner watch list. It's really nice. I'm trying to make this smaller. Oh, thinner. But no offense to the fat watch list out there, right? We don't body shame at all. Save space. Having a little difficulty resizing these, but good enough. All right, good enough. So what's next? We want, whenever we trade, right, we want to monitor the price. Of course, we can see price here, but you can't really see it that well. Let's add a quote widget. Let's go to quote, right? So now we can have a quote widget. Let's put it up here, and then it will show us the current price and also some more details, right? The high of today, low of today, open of today, right? That's pretty good. So what is next? Next, when we're trading, we obviously want a buy button, right? Like, what is the point about this if you don't have a buy button? So let's add a buy button. There's actually multiple ways you can trade stocks, different widgets for trading, right? You have the classic order entry, which is just a line. You can enter whatever information they ask you. That's boring. But then there's classic trade, and there's also active trade. These are the two I want to go over right now. So let's go over the classic trade first. Classic trade, basically, is the most basic, right? So if you want to do an order entry, you can buy, sell, or short. You can do limit orders, market orders, stop orders as well. You can enter whatever quantity you want, but not only in shares, you can do percent, right? What percent do you want to buy, or also what dollar amount you want to buy. So it's very customizable, and then you can enter your limit price very easily. You can also just click this, and then it will automatically, like, if you want to buy the ask, right? If you want to sell the bid, if you want to just do manual input, or even the current price, you can do whatever you want. And then there's also stop loss and take profit features of the sub order. So within this order, there's conditional orders as well, right? So we can add a stop loss order if this price goes below this, or if it goes, down 1%, for example, it will automatically sell for you. The opposite works for take profit orders, right? If it goes up to this price, it will automatically sell for you. That's really nice. And now there's active trade. Active trade is pretty much saving different profiles of this classic trade, right? So for example, let me show you. If you click this button, right, it will show you a settings pop-up, which looks like this, right? So what you see here is basically the same as a classic trade window, except you want to create profiles so you can, in the future, when you click one button, you don't have to enter anything at all. Just have to click one button. So you can save different buttons here. The settings are pretty much the same as the classic trade, except you can also tie them into hotkeys, right? So for me, when I buy, I just press Alt A and it buys for me automatically. Alt Z, I sell half, right? And then you can also override your previous selections, right? So if you want to just buy 2 shares, you can enter it here, and then bam, everything will turn to 2 shares, right? So it's very, very flexible. There's also other buttons like cancel. If you put out an order, you want to cancel it, easily press it to cancel. We can close. Close, what it means is that it sells all your shares instantly at whatever market price available. So if you want to get out something ASAP, you don't want to get bogged down with limit orders. You can just bam, press close, and you'll close all your positions instantly, automatically. It also shows you what orders you currently have and how many shares you currently hold, right? So for aesthetic purposes, I'm gonna make the chart smaller so this can fit, right? And next, what is next? While trading, right, before you buy and sell, you also want some other data. For example, you want level 2 data. So if you click quote here, you can get times and sales data. This will show you every single trade made, every tick, right? The share size, the price at which it was traded, for everything, constantly updated, second by second. There's also the order book, the level 2 data. This is what I look at constantly, right? The level 2 data just shows you what current orders are out there right now. So right now we're trading at 385.05, right? But it also shows you there's a sell order at 305.08, you know? So usually when day trading, it's especially helpful when you see a big, huge ass order that's out of, proportions, right? So for example, when I'm day trading and then the price was like from, it's at 990, and then I see a huge sell order down here at $10, I know I want to get out before $10 because the likelihood of the buy orders overcoming this huge sell order at 10 is not very likely. So you can pretty much see into the future, kind of, with level 2 data. If you're new to Webull, you get it for free for 3 months, but after that you have to pay $2 a month, which is not anything at all, especially relative to the benefits it provides, right? And now, what is next? Next is a price ladder. So price ladder is like a combination of the level 2 data as well as this trade setting. What do I mean by that? As you see, of course, it looks pretty similar to the level 2 data, right? Except it also shows you volume, and you can also buy directly from here as well, right? If you just hover over this, you can just click buy and it will buy instantly. Well, turn off order confirmation, of course. You can also enter whatever share size you want to buy, or what percent, or how much in dollar amounts, right? So you can remove this and just keep the price ladder by itself, and that'll be good enough. You can see level 2 data here, see volume, and also you can, if you want to just don't want to buy, if you don't want to enter any price at all, you can just click whatever price you want to buy at. That's pretty helpful as well. You can also change increments if you want to. For example, you can go up to larger increments, especially for higher price stocks, right? So for example, let's go to Align, which is like $600 stock. If increment of 5 cents is not gonna do much because the spread is probably like $1, $2. Let's do $1 spread. Bam. Now it's more clear. Now what is next? The next section. Pay attention. The next section is the other section. Well, actually, there's also a positions, right? So when you're trading, when you enter a position, you also obviously want to see your positions, right? See your current P&L, open P&L, closed P&L. Well, it doesn't show closed P&L. That's one function Webull desperately needs. It doesn't show daily closed P&L, but it does show open P&L, right? So when you're under position, you can exactly see how much you're losing, how much you're winning. Usually, I like putting it on the next to quotes, just top right, because I don't really trade many positions at once. This window alone would show me like 5-6 current holdings, so that's enough. The next section is the other section, right? So these are the extra stuff you want. What's important for me is the alerts, right? So go to General and then click My Alerts as well as Alert Messages. So let me just put these on the right side. So what does this mean, right? For example, let me look at something. Oh, one more thing. You want to sync all of these widgets, right? So set them as group 1, so all of them will be synced together. What do I mean by this? If you click one ticker, everything else on the widgets will all sync to that ticker. Where else it will be different tickers, and that will be very, very confusing and useless. So let's sync everything. Okay, so now everything I synced as group 1, and then you can sync them as multiple groups as well. So what do I want to look at? Let's look at Fiverr, for example, right? Wow, it looks pretty good. But for example, let's say, this is a 5-minute chart, right? So let's say if it breaks here, I want to buy, right? But the price is currently here. I want to get notified. What do? You right click, right? You right click here, and then click create alert. You don't see it currently on my screen, but just right click and you'll see it. It's right there. Create alert, and then what will pop up is this window. Not this window. This window, right? So you can do price above, whatever, below, whatever, how many times it notifies you, and then whether there's a sharp rise, a sharp falling price, and it will notify you, right? So what I do, this is my personal style. I don't do anything except I just click change once per day to once per minute, and then bam, click save, right? So now this will show up. Now let me move this. One second. Alright, so now it will show up on your alerts. So this is where you manage all your alerts. And then if alert does trigger, it will show up on the alert messages tab, right? So that's very helpful. And lastly, the last widget I put on my trading interface, it is another chart actually. Actually, no, not this widget. That widget. Which one? Let's go to quote and add another chart, right? So this third chart allows me to look at another time frame. This is not necessary, by the way. This is not necessary, but this is just my personal preference. So let's add a chart here. Let's sync this up with our group. Okay, so for example, let's look at what do you want to look at? Let's look at Square. Square is a payment processing company. On the left we have the 5-minute. On the right we have the daily, right? And on the bottom, I usually have the weekly. So this gives you a very, very, very awesome weekly overview of the current price action as well, right? So you can see historical trends, right? So even though daily looks like this, or it's like, oh, stalling, but you look at the weekly and you're like, oh shit, this is ready for a bounce, you know? This chart just behaves like any other chart. You can add indicators, you can add MACD, for example, right? So this looks pretty good. And now what is next? Next is to subscribe. So this is all I have so far, right? This will carry you very, very far, having this set up. And if you like this video, remember to like, comment, subscribe. And if it helped you, please let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. And that's it. Peace out.